Mr. Jeff Orr is with us right now, and Jeff is a leadership performance coach, and certainly, I must say, Jeff, you've helped me in so many ways just being on our program several times.
And that's a feat.
Yeah. Very true.
I gotta stop picking on you, Luke.
No, you can pick on me. I love it.
Do you love it when I pick on you?
But actually, somebody that picks on somebody actually cares deeply.
That's
for
true.
them.
Usually when they tease
Yeah,
them.
we like to think that.
Huh? Oh, we like to think that. Jeff, this is something that I think a lot of people, we're going to talk about it today, a lot of people have an issue with, including yours truly, and that's how to say no.
In the holiday season.
Just at the holiday season?
Well, all over, but the holiday
around.
season in particular, because we end up with a lot of stress in the holiday season because we can't say no. Till we, instead of this magical, wonderful time that we hope it will be, that we kind of expect it to be, it ends up being full of headaches, migraines, stomach aches, sleeplessness, depression, frustration, fights with families.
You can't wait for the holidays to be over.
Bankruptcy.
Yes, and then what do? We look forward to it again. Yeah, we can do it all again next year.
We never learned, do we?
No, and it does stem to those things that we can't say no to. So we tend to overspend because we can't say no. We overcommit. We over-party. And all those different things. And like for example, overcommitting. We feel that stress of, well, we have to go to this holiday party, have to go to this office party, and this family function, and this event. And part of it is we want to, and the other part is we just have all these pressures. So I've talked to people and said, okay, say it's the month of April and you get invited to 18 different social events. How many are you realistically going to be attending? One, two, three, maybe, depending on your life. So what makes us think that we could cram 18 of them in the month of December and do them all?
But we try to, don't we?
We do, and so you end up with headaches and ulcers. So maybe we should set a goal each year of, my plan is to have a miserable holiday and sleepless nights, and then at least we'd feel better that we accomplished what we wanted to.
But how do you say no to Tanya Mock? Can you?
Haven't been able to do that, have you, Jeff?
Well, my schedule's been open, so it's been a good thing.
But it is difficult in certain circumstances when you care deeply about that person, and say, you know what? So what do? You skate? Do you tell lies? What do you do?
No, you have to set limits. First, what you need to do is you need to decide, okay, in the holiday season, for example, what am I wanting to get out of it? What do I expect out of it? Stop living for other people's expectations. Set some priorities. What is it that has to be done? What would you like to do? Make that list, prioritize it, and then ditch the rest.
Sounds
good. And
sounds easy until we get right in the midst of it,
sure, it's easy to talk about, but it does take some time. And you have to put these things in place. And then you also have to be ready for the ramification of everybody else who's going to start nailing you for putting limits on.
But isn't one of the reasons we say yes to things is we're afraid the next year they won't invite us?
Well, if they don't, they don't. They're not really your friends anyway, right? And if it's an
Thank
office
you,
thing,
Jeff.
well,
I have been trying to get that point across to this man for 20 years.
No,
if we're talking business, okay, if we're talking about business and business opportunities, you still have to put your intentional strategy in place. All right, I'm getting invitations from all these business opportunities. Which ones are most likely going to net a business relationship that will be productive down the road? And then the rest set aside. And if they don't invite you the next year, oh well. You still focus on the ones that are going to be productive and move you toward where you want to be.
From a business
standpoint. From a personal standpoint, you have to set a little bit more boundaries. Of course, this gets hard with families because families have those expectations of, I've got to have my family around me and all my adult children around the holidays or, it's just not going to work out for me.
But bring the two slobbery dogs out.
Yeah, that could...
the ones that jump on you and lick your face.
Or the fruitcake.
Or the fruitcake.
Hey, this is what we're having for dessert. The ever popular.
Hey, now
this is
I
from
like
1968.
Okay.
No, Tanya's a big fruitcake.
Overspending.
Overspending. It's a big one because we feel like we have to give gifts to everybody. But let's be honest. If you're having financial difficulties, it's been a rough year. Be honest with your family, and just say up front, you know what, we can't afford to buy gifts for everybody.
And even your friends. I mean, if you can't be honest with a person you think is your friend, then they're not your friend.
Right. I mean, there's been great suggestions of put names in a hat and draw a name, and you buy the gift for that person.
That's big.
Another thing is be creative. Make a gift. If, like, for example, my wife's an excellent gourmet cook. I enjoy cooking as well. One year, we made some food things that are specific that you don't normally get anywhere else.
Oh gosh,
and
I
we
want to
gave
be on
those
your
out.
list.
Yeah. Can
Are
we
we
get
your
on your
friends?
list?
I'd be happy to.
Check it twice.
So be creative with something. Make something. for somebody instead of always having to buy something, but just be honest.
Here's a big one. Holiday parties, whether they be family or business, and really I'm speaking business a little bit more, office parties, how to handle yourself. I mean,
Don't drink too much.
Oh, yeah.
Put a limit on it. I mean, look, if you're obnoxious normally, alcohol is only going to amplify that obnoxiousness. So don't think that you're the life of the party when you drink, because you're not. You're just making a fool of yourself. And so limit that. You really need to limit that. And certainly the desserts and everything that comes, so we overeat as well as
a lot of people too at the parties, they become to not really be themselves.
Well,
they change, and then suddenly back at the office on Monday, you're saying, uh-oh.
Right. So avoid that altogether by just limiting what you're doing. For desserts and things like that, instead of eating a whole piece of cheesecake, maybe take a quarter of it so you can enjoy a quarter of something else. It's about discipline and balance.
Isn't it amazing how we overeat, we overspend, we overdrink, we overgift give?
Well, again, come January 1st, why not set a resolution? I'm going to plan on gaining 40 pounds and making a fool of myself at every holiday party I can. And then, again, at least you feel good that you accomplished your goal.
Just made it is extremely difficult not to overeat during the holidays.
That is difficult, but I think
difficult.
we have to really be cognizant of that.
Well, again, it gets back to that self-discipline. If you know you're going to a holiday party, eat balanced meals during the day.
And then you won't be as hungry. You won't graze so much.
Or maybe take that piece of cheesecake and say, here, you put on the pounds.
Happy holidays. Here's a cheesecake, and here's 10 pounds for you. But
Jeff, leadership performance coach. People find you, of course. We want to know how they can find you, and of course, we're going to have that on the screen for them. Common thread, concern that comes to you.
Where I'm finding a lot of things is focus, clarity. People are having difficulty focusing on either a task or where they're heading or what they're wanting to accomplish. And it comes from having too many things to do, too many things on their plate, so the clarity gets...
Too many emails, too many texts.
Too many phone calls, too many invitations, the holiday season coming up. There's too many things going on.
Doesn't that come with organization too? Organize your time, isn't it? Time management?
Yes, time management. And again, it gets to prioritizing what are the things that I need to be accomplishing, what are the most important, and then putting aside the rest of those things. I just coached one of my clients who was needing to focus on the immediate things that had to be done, and they often get many emails, many texts, and it interrupts their day. So I said, just turn it off. Well, I can't. Well, turn off the alarm. You got an alarm on the email, right? Mute it. Mute your phone for 2 hours. Block out 2 hours, and that's your time. The stuff will be there at, in 2 hours when you get there.
I turn it down so I can't hear it, and then when I go back, they're there. Obviously, I don't like to be reminded.
What works for me is getting up. I get up very early, and I'm in the office very early, and there's nobody else around. And it's very calming, very quiet, and I can accomplish a lot in 2 hours. Once the bell rings, then it becomes very difficult.
Right, and depending on where you're at, I've got clients who have small children, young families. They can't exactly do that necessarily. But it does become important to block that time in the office of, okay, one client says, okay, I'm going to return calls from 9:30 to 11:30 and 2:30 to 4:30. And they say that on their voicemail. So if you call any other time, this is when they're going to return the call.
Yeah, so. Jeff, thank you.
Always informative. Jeff, thank you very, very much.
To be here.
And of course, he is the author of How to Succeed in the New Norm.
And he also, we're now on his list.
When we come back, we're going to talk to